Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi. My name is Kara. I'm one of the co-founders of White Collar. White Collar is a matching platform that matches for mentorship. It's similar to most other matching platforms that match users up with each other, like you have Uber, you have Match.com, you have BetterHelp that matches for counseling. We match for the relationship of mentorship. We'll be matching for a mentorship and specifically career and business, okay? And we'll eventually be matching for other business relationships, but we started with the relationship of mentorship. Um, so today we're going to talk, this is going to be a very short video, maybe about 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. We're going to talk about best practices when you are a mentor or mentee. Okay. We're going to start off with the mentor. What is the best practice for being a mentor? And the reason why we're having this conversation is because we had our first breakup. A mentee said they did not want to continue with a particular mentor. And so, it's a learning experience, right? You sometimes you don't know you're not a good fit until you start working with each other, okay? It's not anything to get like doesn't mean that the mentor was bad, doesn't mean the mentee was bad. It just means that they weren't good for each other. But I think it's important for us to talk about what the best practices are so we can avoid these situations rather than them reoccur. So, as a mentor, okay, I understand you have when you want to be a mentor or you are a mentor, you have a big heart, right? You want to help people, you want to save the world, all these things. You have lofty dreams, right? But there isn't but so much time in the day, okay? You also have a business that you have to keep afloat that's paying the bills, your personal and your business bills, right? Your overhead. So you may want to help people, but you only can carve out a certain amount of time to do so. Okay. Communicate that information as to what that looks like for the mentee up front. We have office hours where we allow people to have meet and greets with each other. So you can communicate that information. If you are one of the future mentors for our office hours, you can communicate that information to whoever you meet with one on one that's interested in you. But better than that, we on the app, you can schedule time slots of your availability. So when someone goes on your profile, they know up front when you are available. You're only available Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. You only have one hour time slots from 5 to 6. That's it. Okay. They know whether that's aligned with their schedule or not, or maybe you're only available on the weekends. Whatever it is, they know up front when I get with this mentor, this is what their availability looks like. Now, if you decide to negotiate something different with them um, and make more availability for them around their schedule, fine. But up front, they know going in that this was your availability. So they're agreeing to, it's like almost a handshake agreement that they're agreeing to meet you where you're at. What you guys decide to do differently is your business. But like I said, it's important for the mentees to know upfront what your availability is. So we do recommend and suggest that when you sign up on the app as a mentor, go ahead and put up your time slots that you're available, whether or not you have a mentee or not. Okay, whether you're connected to a mentee or not, go ahead and put your time slots up so when they go in, they can see your availability, and that might you know, that will help them make a decision about if you're the mentor for them. But there is an opportunity to have this conversation one on one with them when we have our office hours, if you decide to participate in one of our office hours and be featured as a mentor. But people like to know what to expect. People don't like uncertainty. They don't want to go in. You saying, "Oh, I'll work with you. I'll be, I'll work with your schedule. I'll do whatever you need." And then when you realize whatever they need is too much, then you're trying to reel them in and now they're upset or dissatisfied, right? So it's best for them to know upfront what your availability is so that they can make an informed decision if you're the mentor for them. Don't oversell. Don't oversell yourself, because we don't want, one thing we don't want to do is take you from successful business owner to floundering and flailing, and sinking ship because of the fact that you've overextended yourself in terms of your availability for the people you're offering mentorship to. We do not want that. We want you to feel comfortable with the time that you have available. Think of it, even though you're getting paid on our platform, think about it as volunteer hours. How much hours can you volunteer your time? Because you are volunteering your time, because we know a lot of these business owners um, make way more than what we're paying them at white collar. So think about how much of time can you volunteer to someone or someone's, okay? So don't oversell yourself, right? People like you to exceed their expectations, not underwhelm them. So it's best to set up a structure of what, what your availability looks like up front. That's why we have those slots that you can schedule on the app so that people know what they're getting going in. I'm trying not to forget the points I was going to make, so I have to, I had it written down somewhere, so excuse me for a second. So the next point I want to make is, as a mentor, it's important that you really assess where that mentee is at in their learning, right? Where they're at in their learning process for whatever they're trying to get mentorship in, and what is their learning style, okay? Are they just starting to consider a particular industry that you offer mentorship in and they know literally nothing about it, so they're like a blank slate, blank page? Or are they further along? They actually have a business in what you offer mentorship in, so they have a fair amount of knowledge and just need someone to help them grow that business. So where are they at? Because not everybody is for everybody, meaning that some people don't want to work with people at those very beginning stages where they are a blank slate, right? Some people do. Some people love that. Some people love working with, molding someone into the type of professional that they would like to see, right? Um, and having high touches with those people. They like to handhold. I'm not a hand holder. I don't like hand holding. I like motivated individuals who are going to take what I give them running, right? But still check in with me to make sure they're going in the right direction. I don't want you going out there doing, just taking on the world by yourself. I want you to check back in before you make major decisions, so we don't have to do a lot of cleaning up and recalibrating because of the mistakes you made because you didn't check in or gain insight from me. Um, so it's a balance for me, right? But there are some people who love to handhold, who love to walk that person and journey with that person from beginning to end. And then there's some people that like, no, I don't want all of that. I just want someone that is already a self-motivated learner that I can, give them some guidance and they take that and run, right? And I don't need to do a lot of, it's a low touch person. I don't need to do a lot of meetings with them. They're not constantly texting me or calling me or wanting to meet because I'm busy and I have, only but so much time I can spend. But I do want to help some folks. So really ascertaining where that person is at in their stages of learning, right? If that's something you can take on. And also, yeah, that's basically it. If that's something you could take on, where they're at in their stages of learning, and if that's something you could take on, and what their learning style is, like, uh, you know, and when I go into, and when I mean by learning style, some people are visual learners, some people, So, like if you're sharing your screen and showing them some stuff, they learn best that way. Some people do it better with written communication. You could send PDFs through the chat when you're on the video call with them, or you can text message, direct message them. I mean, really understanding how they learn, if that works with you, and what you can really offer, not what you would like to offer. How much of yourself can you really offer at this stage that you're in this stage of your life? Because we all know we have responsibilities that are even outside of business. So, you know, you might be retired and have a lot of time in your hands, so you can do a lot of hand holding and high touches with your mentees because your kids are out the house and you don't have any kids to run behind. But if you do have a family and you have young kids, then think about, can you take this mentee on, because you have other responsibilities you have to take care of, and they may need you more than you can actually give, right? So really understanding that. This goes back to communication and set expectations. What is that mentee, and what is your preferred communication style as a mentor? Some people are text people and they're fine with um, sending direct messages back and forth because maybe they don't want to be bothered with a video call. That takes too much time out of their schedule. They got work, they have kids, they just, they don't want a weekly video call, and that's fine. Um, and then there's some people that need that. They want that video call. They want to see you face to face and talk to you and read your body language, and ascertain, and like I said, they may be visual learners, and so they learn best by whatever you present to them during the time you spend with them on the video call, or whatever PDFs you send to them during that call. Um, so they want the video calls and they want them weekly, right? We recommend that you check in as a mentor, you check in with your mentee weekly, even if you're not doing a video call every week, because not everybody can really accommodate that in their schedule, that you're at least checking in. If you haven't heard from that mentee, you're like, send them a direct message. Hey, you okay? You all right? You need anything? Do you want to set up some time to meet? So we can talk. I When I used to do coaching, because I don't do it anymore at this time. I've sunset that. But when I used to do coaching, I preferred video calls. I like to get it all out in one shot and then not see till the next week. I don't like a lot of back and forth in text or written communication, because things get, in my opinion, okay, things don't get translated sometimes well in written communication. Then it's a lot of back and forth, and I'm spending sometimes more time with the back and forth in the written communication than I would if we just had a video call. So I'm a video call kind of gal, right? Some people prefer direct message. I hit you with a question, you answer back quickly, I move on. So it really just depends on what kind of person you are and what kind of correspondence you prefer. And as a mentor, you need to really understand that and then communicate that to the mentee, because if you're meeting with someone and you are a video call person and they're a direct message person and they're sending you a lot of direct messages and you're not responding, then that could be a problem, right? So really letting them know, like, well, listen, I'm a video, I like video, I like us meeting video weekly. This is how we're gonna do it. If you need, if you have a question, hold it, try to see if you could hold it. And I think it's gonna be a very involved answer. Let's hold it till we meet, right? Unless it's an emergency. So setting some really clear expectations with that mentee can avoid a lot of miscommunication and frustration. Okay. So that's what I would advise, as the mentors that are considering signing up with White Collar or have already signed up with White Collar. Um, when it comes to the mentee, I don't have a lot, because the mentees are the students. They're learning. They don't they don't know better. This may be their first mentorship experience. Um, I would say the same questions apply, or the same input or feedback applies. Um, but what I would say is most important as a mentee is to know what exactly if you're in that very beginning stage where you're seeking out mentorship and you have no clue about the industry that you're seeking mentorship in, or you have very little knowledge about it, um, be clear that that's actually what you're trying, that's the choice that you're moving forward with, right? Like, we don't work with mentees that have no clue what they want to do for a business. That's not us. That is many other programs out there, um, but that is not us. We work with folks that already have a clear idea and have already made a decision of what they want to do, or they may be between two different industries and they're needing help. Maybe they get two different mentors and they're needing, help, and in terms of information about those industries before they move forward with either one. But when it comes to people that are like, I have no clue what I want to do, but I do know I want to start a business, that is too pre-contemplation for us, like, because we do industry specific mentorship, so we need people that actually have an interest in a particular industry, versus people that have no clue or idea of what they want to do in a career or business. um, so the mentor is not there to help you figure that. They're not there to help you figure out what your life path should be. You should have a general idea of the choice that you want to make, and you just need some more insight moving forward. But they're not there, if that's something you're needing help with to kind of figure out what should be the passion you pursue. I would suggest you going to your alma mater if if you already graduated, or if you are a current college student or high school student, go to that counseling or career center at your school and get the Myers-Briggs, and there'll be all sorts of testing to help you determine where you fall in terms of what you should do with your life. But in terms of us, we don't help with that decision making. Okay, we're for the people that are looking to change careers, or are in a particular career that they have chosen but need help moving forward and excelling in that particular career, with the help of a mentor. So I would just say it, be very careful about stepping into the space that we have at White Collar when you're completely undecided and have no idea what you want to do, because the mentor is expecting someone that is choosing them because they want to know more about their industry, not choosing them because they need help with figuring out what they want to do with their lives. um, I hope that makes sense, right? So those mentors are not just general mentors, they're industry specific mentors. You see my dog in the background? They're industry specific mentors that are there to give industry insights and information. Okay. So that's what I would say. The only key points that I would apply to the mentees is really know what you want to do before you step into the white collar space. Really have a decision made. And even if you're in between two careers, maybe you're leaning more into one than the other, then choose the one that's your top choice to go and get a mentor in. Okay? Don't come to us, with no direction, no idea, no concepts of what you want to do. Okay? So that's what I would say. That's the best practices that I wanted to go over. Um, like I said, a lot of what I said for the mentors, if you go to the beginning of the video, I talk about what are the best practices for mentors with white collar. The same kind of applies for mentees in a sense. Like setting the clear expectations of when you're available as a mentee and the hours that you're available, and making sure that coincides with that mentor. um, Explain to them what your communication style is. Do you prefer direct messaging, or do you prefer video calls? So all of those same things, and having those conversations up front avoids any miscommunication and frustration, right? No, no one can say I didn't know if you told them, right? So let them know, reiterate that if you have to. Um, and sometimes, even still, people may say, well, I thought I could work with this, but I don't think I can. We do offer you a 15-day trial with a mentor. However, after 15 days, that's it. Like you don't get to spend 20, 25 days with somebody as a mentor and then say I don't want them anymore and then not be paid for their time. They're going to get paid for their time, okay? You'll be locked into at least the 30-day period with them before you can switch. Um and so really also when you do get to a point where things are just not working out, talk to us about it. Maybe there's something um we can do to resolve it. Maybe a conversation just needs to be had with the mentor to kind of work out those kinks. But first and foremost, you have a conversation with that mentor. Okay. Yes, we'll get involved if there's something egregious going on and someone has made some sort of, inappropriate remark or comment or has been inappropriate with you in any sort of way. But I would say first talk directly to the mentor and try to work it out with them. We're all adults. Everybody has to be 18 and over to be on the app. So nobody's a teenager or a youth, right? So try working out with them first because it might be easily resolvable before you just come straight to us. Um, we encourage that communication. That's actually part of our code of conduct. We encourage you to have a conversation with that person first before you're coming to us. We're not the parents, okay? We are the owners and co-founders of the app, yes, and we're here if it can't be worked out because you've made the attempt to talk to them. Just like when you're at work and you have an issue with a coworker, talk to the coworker. You don't run to the boss. You shouldn't be unless it's egregious. But talk to the coworker, try to work it out with them like two human beings should. And then if they're not listening to you or it gets escalated, then you go to the supervisor. It's the same thing with white collar. Talk to each other first, try to resolve it, address them with whatever issue and you have with them. And if they're not trying to hear it, then come to white collar. Okay. Anyway, all right. Well, that's that. I am done for the day. I hope everyone's doing well. If you have any questions, and I'm going to put it in the chat how you can message us. You could text mentorship to 1-877-892-8868. But yeah, sometimes you got to have these hard conversations, and we're there to, of course, offer you support. But but as a business owner or as a career professional, you're going to have to learn how to have tough conversations, and you can't run to mommy and daddy every time somebody doesn't do something you like. You have to know how to have respectful, difficult conversations with people. And so please try to have those conversations first and remediate it with amongst each other before you come to white collar. But we are here if you need it and it's not remediable. So anyway, okay, you guys take care. Bye.